a little bit about this, and then Suzanne can fill in the hose. Basically, this is an excavator. Back in 2016, there was quite a bit of work done on clearing ditches, et cetera. I think at first this was going to be bid out, and then the decision was made to do it in-house. And excavator was purchased back around July or so, and then a second excavator was approved by the council, or approved by Finance Committee, forwarded to council. They approved it in late in the year, I think October or so. But the problem is this piece of equipment did not get received until sometime in March. So the fact that it was ordered late in the year, it wasn't included. It didn't get put into 2016 where it got approved. And then it was late in the year, and they weren't sure, I think, if it was coming in. And I think we could talk about some other stuff, but basically it was not included in the 2017 budget. So Suzanne kind of fill in the blanks, and we'll go from there. And
So it was approved in the 216 budget, but
No, it was amended. The budget was amended in October to include this. And then it was ordered in November. And then we were invoiced March the 17th. And because we use the regulatory basis of accounting and we pay for things in the year that they incur, and then we have to pay for them within 60 days of the beginning of the year, we were invoiced after that 60 days.
Yeah,
And so
if you
therefore-
remember, this is the big one we bought after the 6-inch rain in 3 hours, the major flood. And we decided we needed, and Steve, our street superintendent, told us we needed a bigger excavator that would handle some of the bigger stuff we do. So we kind of doubled down on that and got that then. But I guess.
We've already paid for it, or we already have it budgeted. We budgeted,
It was-
but
yeah.
that's it.
it was approved last year, but just because of the timing, it didn't get
invoiced until March
invoiced.
17th. And that's what I gave you, was just a copy of the invoice when it was ordered, which was in November, and then the invoice was in March. So-
Right. I mean, and with my background in the private sector, I was like, well, why wasn't this accrued into last year? Since we already were obligated to get it. And the whole difference is the government or the regulatory approach doesn't really allow you to do that, based on what I've been told. So we discussed a few things that can be done to hopefully prevent this from happening again, as far as reviewing open purchase orders at the, towards the end of the year, just before we approve the budget at the end of the year, and hopefully working this into the budget if this situation comes up, which I don't think it does very often.
No.
It was just, kind of a perfect storm, not to make excuses, but
well,
anyway.
large pieces of equipment, sometimes it takes a long time to get
Yeah,
here.
I think we know what to look for. I think Suzanne knows what to look for, just to kind of double check.
And Steve's here. Steve, we had no way of knowing exactly when it was going to be here, did you? I mean, it's,
When we ordered the machine, the 325 that we ordered is a popular machine, and we had to wait on this one to come overseas to be built. And it took that long to come across.
So it's where, is it,
It-
I mean, we pay for it and we get it the
haven't
next
paid
day,
for
or,
it yet.
okay.
it's here now.
We already received the machine.
Okay, so we just need to pay for it.
Yeah, they just need authorization.
I moved it forward to full council.
Second.
All right, there's some motion and a second to forward to full council. Any more discussion?
Do we need to declare an emergency? Is that necessary?
We don't have to, do we? Can we pay within 30 days, or we're past that point? So we do need to declare, okay, well, that will take place when we do it at the full council.
Okay.
All right. And Suzanne, I think the only other thing that I kind of asked you to look at, sorry, obviously this is an addition, this will be an additional expenditure on this year's budget, or out of this year's budget. I think we discussed some this morning to maybe look at our capital budget and see if there's any other items that we may not be doing that can kind of make up for this. Because obviously, I know we have quite a bit of reserves, but we've discussed many different meetings, and those reserves can we need to manage them properly and prudently, to use some words that have been thrown around. But just please review the capital budget and see, if there's another area where this might be able to be made up for, because it is quite a bit of money to be,
So this is another that's coming out of,
this is another that's coming out of reserves, yes, sir.
Come out of our checking account.
Well, right now, those are called, that checking account's called reserves. All right, thank you. All right, there's, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll move it on to full council. Next item under new business, my contact almost came, well, my contact did come out. Resolution 17039, a resolution to contract with Wounded Warriors amputee softball team to host an event in Jonesboro, Arkansas on November 10th through 12th, 2017. Sponsors are Parks and Rec. And Ms. Sharon, are you going to speak about this, please?
The Wounded Warrior amputee softball team, I met these individuals last year in Little Rock, and they're such an inspiration. And we asked them to come to Jonesboro to be a fundraiser for the Miracle League. And to be a member of this team, they come from all over the United States, and to be a member of this team, they have to be a veteran, and they have to have at least one amputation. And some of these players have 2 amputations. The teams they played in Little Rock, they did not want anybody to hold anything back. They played hard, and they played it was in July the 4th tournament, and they were just an inspiration. I just get cold chills when I talk about them. But we have formed a committee, and we're going to contact all sorts of veterans groups, the American Legion, the Disabled American Veterans Association, and there's a lot of buzz about it already. And we did go to A&P, and they did give us money to help support this event. And it is going to be Veterans Weekend. We will do a banquet for them. Central Baptist Church Family Life Center has offered to let us use that facility at no cost. And we'll do that on Friday night. And then Saturday morning, John Williams at Sue's Kitchen is going to cook breakfast for them at no charge. And then they'll participate in the Veterans Parade. And then we will have a celebrity softball game and a tournament at Southside to also honor them, and they'll be participating with the Miracle League kids that whole weekend.
Okay, and I understand that, you know, you're having like the banquet and everything, you're like a silent auction. There's going to be many different revenue streams coming in to,
Yes.
you know, hopefully cover this. And the goal is to make a donation, right, to, is it Miracle League? I mean, you may have said that.
Yes. Well, they have a camp. They do a camp in St. Louis every year for children with amputations, and they've asked us to make a $5,000 donation to their camp. But all other revenues will be a fundraiser for the Miracle League. And right now, we're talking with motels, and I believe we've already got the rooms comped. It's a 15-member team, and they require 8 to 10 rooms while they're here. And like I said, John Williams at Sue's Kitchen's going to feed them while they're here, and I think we've got lunch already donated for that day. So I think it'll be a big fundraiser for the Miracle League.
I think in the AEP meeting, you mentioned the increased travel costs was something that had kind of come up maybe after.
Yeah, when we first got information from them, it was 10 to 15,000 is what they estimated that it costs for airplane fare and motel fare for them while they're here. The last thing I got from them was, and I asked him, I said, is this going to be the last thing? And so the agreement that we got from them assured us that it between 12 and 17,000, so it had went up a couple of $1,000.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's an excellent project for the community, and I'm really, thank you for trying to put this together. I think it's going to be very worthwhile, and it'll probably end up being a great fundraiser for it. I move we forward to full council.
Second.
Motion and second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, Sharon. I believe the next thing is under pending items, Resolution 17034. I think, Suzanne, would you like to come?
Yes, in light of some of the issues that have been brought up with Rennell, we have contacted HUD and we're waiting for them to get back with us to make sure that we can proceed. So we would like to just
I will table
hold
this
that. table it.
indefinitely.
Yes.
Second.
Motion second to table indefinitely. More discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Under other business,
Yes, sir, I'd like to, and I don't want to keep bringing this up, but, you know, we need to come up with some conclusion on this reserve percentage. And I don't know if that's going to be this committee make a recommendation to the full council, or does the full council do that in the meeting? But I think that's something that we really, as we go forward with all these revenue enhancements proposals, that we need to be able to tell the public what our actual reserves that we believe we need before we proceed with all these things. And I don't have answers, but I'm just saying, I think at some point in time,
We need to do something pretty quick because
Well-
it looks like we're just spending money and then asking for more money on this end,
Right.
right?
right, I had actually on my notes, under other business, you know, I'd previously sent out some of the proposed employee handbook changes, and I'd like to review those on April 25th. And then I had made a note, and I think I sent Suzanne a request to do this, is on the 5/9 meeting. I'd like for finance to put together a presentation on the reserves.
good.
And maybe some proposals or options that we can consider to, you know, to talk amongst ourselves as this council, and then to present to full council if you know, if it does come through this committee. But you know, I think I sent y'all information, so please.
Articles and stuff.
Right, so, right,
Different
so,
philosophies
you know,
on.
best practices and stuff, so just please look through that, you know, if you, between now and the first meeting in May, and hopefully that'll get us on that direction, because I think, I mean, that is a very, very important subject.
Yes.
It comes up all the time, and, you know, Mr. McLean's, you know, comments, you know, it just looks like it's coming out of reserves, and there's got to be a point where, yes, it's coming out of reserves, but there's something that has to go away, or, I mean, it can't always be give, it's got to be some give and take. So, so anyway, we are working on that, and hopefully, you know, after that May 9th presentation, we can have some better guidelines on what to recommend. Anything else under other business? Public comments? Okay. Did that all get worked out among?
I think we'll have to hear from Craig. Craig, you want to come up and speak? There's a question about whether or not this project was approved on the clerk.
So do I need?
I think procedurally, you need the motion to walk it on the agenda first.
Mr. Chairman, I'd ask to suspend the rules and walk on ordinance 17017 to this meeting.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second to walk on ordinance 17017. Do I need to read the whole title of the ordinance right now?
No,
Or, okay,
ask for a vote. Or discussion.
any discussion on walking this ordinance on? All right, if there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So,
When you brought this bridge, that was that bridge over on College that was going to be the new design process that the highway department's doing? Is that right?
Let me at least read the title of the ordinance, because I've not seen the ordinance,
Okay.
what we're actually asking. Every year annually, we do a annual bid on concrete products, including bridge decking. This year, we received no bids on our bridge decking and our annual bids. And so we have a bridge that we need to replace this year, the West College Bridge. So we solicited bids from two manufacturers for bridge panels. And we'd like to move forward with the purchase of the panels from Forterra so we can replace that bridge on West College. So it's, my understanding it's a procedural thing because we did not re-advertise for additional bids after not receiving bids the first time, that we solicited bids and were unable to get 3 competitive bids. We only received 2 bids.
Okay, and I also want to make sure that, for Ms. Jackson, that I think there was a concern with, should this come before the Finance Committee or another committee? So,
This is a procedural finance issue, not whether or not the bridge should be replaced. I mean, the bridge has been slated and proved to have been replaced for several years now.
You know, we did that. That's the bridge that you were going to participate with the highway department's
It's got a.
new technique, and it was
right.
so expensive.
Yeah.
It was cheaper to build the bridge. It'd be less than our matching part with the highway.
And we have the money available in the capital funds this year. We had budgeted $250,000 for rehab to the Nettleton Avenue Bridge. When we put the budget together, we budgeted for the replacement of that bridge just in case. We had a structural engineer look at it, and we're not going to have to replace it. It's just some patching work. We're going to come back considerably cheaper on that $250,000. So there should be plenty of funds available to purchase these bridge decks and do the Nettleton Bridge repair.
So is this the only bridge that would require these for this year? Or is this a?
There has been some talk of replacing the Hester Street Bridge this year, but I don't think we have those funds available to.
That would fit in with this bid, though. I mean,
Yeah, it would fit under, it would.
this
it'd have to be-
topic.
But right now, we don't have the funds allocated to do that. If we have project savings someplace that we might be able to purchase the bridge decks for that bridge later on this year, then we'll deal with that when it comes up.
But we do have the funds for this included in that what'd you say,
250,000 for the
Okay.
Middleton.
Where are those funds coming from?
They were budgeted part of capital improvements.
Out of capital improvement?
I move it forward to full council.
Before,
Oh, excuse me.
I do want to address one thing because it's a little confusing hearing you talk about it today based on, I mean, I approved this in Legistar because it says there's only one known source for the panels required and it's unfeasible for bidding. And now you're saying we bid it and we didn't get any bids and then we contacted 2 people,
Yeah,
which
we
suggests
received
that there's
bids.
not just one person. I feel like we need to reword that.
We've
We don't have
received
bids.
bids from Forterra and from Skurlock.
Okay, and usually we attach those bids, right, with the resolution?
Steve told me we did not receive any bids, Craig.
We didn't in the annual bid.
Well, Steve sent me bids. See, that's, let me explain why I questioned this. From the clerk's standpoint, from my point of view, if I see a problem, I'm going to raise the issue, and I'm doing it to protect the council. This particular one was a walk-on. It hadn't even been written. Not approved the Legistar, nothing attached.
Talking about originally, or are you talking about this?
Today.
Today, okay.
Okay, we got it like before 1 o'clock. So we did some research and we found where this was discussed in 15. The mayor come back in 16 and said they weren't going to do it, that they were going to work with the county. That's all that has been done on that. There was never anything submitted as far as a contract, bids, and that's one reason I questioned it. Another is this has to do with streets, and the ordinance itself didn't waive bidding. So if you're saying that you didn't take bids on it, or you did, see, I'm confused. Did you or did you not take bids on this?
We did, and received no bids.
Well, I think where the confusion, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't quite understand it either, this is comparing to like concrete. We take an annual bid on concrete and various subjects.
This is
And so-
bridge panel.
Right, so bridge panels, we take a bid that we could use on various bridges. So in other words, this wasn't when the first bid was sent out, it wasn't specific to a job.
Correct.
It was just, if we ever need these panels, this is what's gonna cost us. And so in that original bid, we got no bids. I mean, okay, so now we come back and decide to do this bridge. And so then did Steve rebid it out to these panels?
No, that is when we went and found 2 suppliers that could provide the bridges,
The panels?
the panels.
And we asked him to make a bid?
Yes.
Okay, so where are those bid sheets?
Right.
We
We
need to see those.
received a bid sheet from Steve just a little bit ago, and it was just for Skurlock, not this buyer.
So, I mean, we got to have the bid sheets. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
And I think we can solve it by fleshing out the ordinance a little bit more too. When I see sole source and unfeasible for bidding, I assume that means there's one person and no one else makes it,
Well,
right? And
but
it still needs the language waive competitive bidding, and
It doesn't enact. The enactment clause does not require, it does not call for it to waive the bid.
right. So, but I think we need to flesh that. If we took bids and got no bids, and then we went out and sought people, I just think we can fix that by saying that in the paragraph instead of making it short.
So, I mean, is this something we can bring back to the next finance committee? Are we in a hurry for this? Is it emergency?
We are in a hurry to get the bridge panels ordered. They're 5 weeks out. After
The data order?
the date of order, the county is lined up to remove the old bridge and drive the new piles in. We're trying to coordinate with them to have the panels available.
Is this something that, I guess the biggest question is this something that, is it gonna be a problem where somebody, if they drove across it, is it gonna, within the next few weeks, are we gonna have a problem?
I mean, it's the same wooden substructure bridge that people have been driving over.
I'd rather wait.
Okay.
I think it's weather. Steve, you might want
Well, let me ask a
Okay,
different.
can I make a
can ask
suggestion?
A different question? Is it possible to, since money is already there and not having to be appropriated, why couldn't this, when does Public Works meet again?
Next month. Well, let me ask
Not
this,
go to
could we
them?
not have a special, and again, I don't know about which committee it needs to go to.
It's public work.
So could we not call a special Public Works meeting next Tuesday and then ask this to be walked on next council meeting?
Yes.
could.
That was all I was asking for anyway.
So we got the same, we get
didn't
the same
have
results. That will give us time to clean it up.
Right.
Right.
Okay, I would like to, John, you do that, your committee.
Leave it, you can still make the motion. That's,
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to call a special called Public Works meeting on April the 18th at 5:15. Do we have anything else, Ms. Jackson, are you aware of? Just one item only?
I can look at the agenda.
And that way, that would give us a chance to get the ordinance cleaned up, and then we could recommend to be walked on that evening and pass, and that would make everything, will be, the bids attached and everything.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
There's motion second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. That's anything else under other business? Now we will move to public comments. Any public comments? All right, seeing no public comments, next item is adjournment.
So moved.
Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.